This is the Golden Record from Farron and Marissa. So, greetings on the Golden Record show that everyone is just wanting to make peace and wanting to make new friends with others, and they don't want to cause harm. So, the following examples are proven that friendship is there no matter what, and we just want to make more friends. The images on these golden records show the evolutions of human life over time. They show all the scientific discoveries and the major life events that have occurred. They resemble how everyone lives their life and how life has changed over time and how life is different over different parts of the earth. Sounds show the differences of nature, whether that be a volcano, a rainforest, rainstorm. It shows all the differences in nature that the earth provides. They also show technology advancements from the simple days of horse and buggies to boats and trains to now the cars and planes that we have. And the music is simple. It shows how from each era and in each location the style is different and how it has evolved from the simplisticness of Beethoven and just instruments to what we have today as all the different styles from rap, country, pop.
On record, we chose the greeting, "Hello, new friends. We hope you are well and look forward to being able to meet you in the future," as we hope to be able to make contact with them in the future as technological advances and advances in space travel have made it seem more likely that we could contact extraterrestrial life in the future. The five sounds we chose are the sound of a crowded city, because as the population is rising, big cities are becoming more and more popular and they're becoming more and more crowded. So that sound is something you hear a lot in many areas. We chose the sound Netflix, like the sound of like Netflix opening, because it's one of the biggest streaming services around and it's used all the time, and that's a sound that we're all familiar with. And I feel like it really represents like us now, especially like in quarantine and with coronavirus, because that's a main form of entertainment. We then have the Kahoot music, which any child, I guess past the age of probably 12, has used Kahoot for a class, and it just really represents like education and like something that like we know. We then chose Wii Music because that's really the first like electronic gaming console, and we've come so far since then, but that Wii Music is like the original and something that like is so familiar to everybody. And then we have the sound of the ocean just because it's a very natural sound, a peaceful, calming sound that everybody knows and most people love. We then have our five songs, which is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond, which is our number one, because it just brings everybody together. It's a well known song. It's a very happy, uplifting song. We then have Imagine by John Lennon, because that's one of the most popular songs of all time and is known like across the world, many countries. We have Bohemian Rhapsody, because basically same with Sweet Caroline, it brings people together, and that's very important, especially in times like now. We have the Macarena, because not only in like Latino cultures, it's become like a very popularized dance. And once everybody knows that song, like they know the dance that goes along with it, and it has so many different forms. And then we have Gangnam Style, which is very similar to the Macarena. It like bridges cultural divides, and it's very interesting in the sense that it brings people together. So for our five images, we have diversity represented here with many different cultures, careers, gender, and everything like that, because like our planet is super diverse. We then have this image which represents technology and how far we've come and all the different ways that technology like has changed basically over the years. We then have the seals of the different branches of our military, and this is specific to the United States, but this could be representative of any country, because each of these like seals represents like the people that protect us and the people that like keep our country to be the way it is now. We then have a picture of the beach, because for many it is a very serene and peaceful place, and it's like a happy place, and we feel like that needs to be included because who knows if there's beaches on other planets, and they should be able to see that. And then we have money, which is a big motivator in the world, and we feel like it should be shown and appreciated. Okay, so for our three videos, we first have a Vine compilation because while Vine might no longer be relevant, it definitely shaped our world now and a lot of the humor of now because those short 7-second videos are what's like spawned apps like TikTok and Snapchat, and it's just really changed the way that like we live our lives and like that and our sense of humor basically. We then have a video of Alexa Silver, which was an SNL clip where they show how the Alexa is being used, which really represents how the older populations are beginning to use technology and are trying to like bridge the divide between technology and the non-technology generations. And while it has a comedic tone to it, it is quite serious in how we are learning to adapt to this new world of everything being online. And this can be seen especially now with the coronavirus, how everything is online and we are functioning as an online society. And then finally, we have a video of several generations all together because it is important to know that like our families are together and we have when we can show these all these different generations, and it's very sweet and comforting. For our five foods, our number one here is pizza because no matter where you go in the world, you can always order a pizza and it's going to be pretty similar. I mean, unless it's Chicago. But the pizza is just culturally rather similar. It's all over the world. Same thing with sushi, and while it might be different in different parts of the world, it's something everybody knows, a lot of people enjoy. And then we have ramen, which, while it is a staple of college kids, it's also becoming more of like a fancy food to eat, and it's just known by everybody what ramen noodles are. We then have tacos, which is primarily like a Mexican food, but they can be made into anything and they're just so versatile. And once again, like every culture seems to have incorporated them in somehow. And then we just have your traditional cheeseburger because I feel like everybody just knows the cheeseburger. And no matter where you go, you can get a cheeseburger. For our four icons, we have the Apple icon because they're like the biggest technology business anymore, and they really just have like I don't want to say a monopoly, but basically a monopoly over it. And then we have McDonald's, which basically for food, same as Apple. Like you think of fast food, you think of McDonald's. They're all over the world and they're just known by everyone. We then have Google, which basically is what allows everybody to survive day to day. Because if you want to know anything, it's got every piece of knowledge on earth in your hand. And then Amazon, which is the largest online marketplace. You can buy anything you want from no matter where in the world and have it shipped anywhere in the world. We then have our five pieces of clothing, which we have a hat, which this specific one is a baseball cap, but really just any hat. Uh, it's so prevalent in fashion today. No matter what outfit you wear, I feel like you can pair a hat with it. We then have a watch because we live in a super fast-paced world and it's important to like check the time and take a step back, and a watch is very common. Most people have one just so that they can keep track. We then have a sneaker, not only to represent like the active nature of the world, but like also like physical fitness and style, because that this specific sneaker here is like a Nike. It's a pretty popular brand name and they're like known throughout the world. We then have a Hydro Flask, which technically isn't a piece of clothing, but most people have like a reusable water bottle as we are trying to step more towards the like more sustainable lifestyle, which includes hydro flasks and reusable water bottles and such. And I feel like that's like globally very popular. And then we have a Louis Vuitton bag, which represents like high end, like name brand fashion. And all of these images here are high end name brand fashion kind of things because people like to pay like for the name rather than like the material. it's like a status symbol, and like that's a big thing right now. And I'm in the future, I assume in the world, like status based off of like brands and money. So yeah.